How's it going, guys? Welcome back. Hope you're doing well. So today what we're going to do is we're going to go over how to level the Great Sword. Um, Now, before we do, some of you may know I do like to do unscripted content. So if it does get a little long-winded, which this one, there's a lot to get into. I will leave the chapters down below for easy navigation, as well as some nice segmented parts. Again, it is unscripted, but I have some good basically a structured segment on how I'd like to go through it. So with that out of the way, let's get into it. So before I get onto the skill tree itself, say a couple things. For new players, if you're a brand new player and you want to avoid spoilers, there are some spoilers in the video, right? I'm going to be going over, I'm going to be showing some fight footage. There's going to be some bosses that I fight. So uh, before we get into all those, I will be putting a slideshow beforehand for you and for the people who just want to understand how I pan out the skill tree. So if you want to avoid spoilers or if you just want the skill tree itself, I'm going to be showing a slideshow here of the levels. So the skill tree as it's unlocked through your mastery levels, you're going to have certain skills with each tier, right? So I'm going to show a quick slideshow of that. And then I'll also be showing before each individual fight my skill tree and my attributes. Other than that, if you are a returning player, right, maybe you bought the game, you stopped playing it, or maybe you've been playing it and you want to use the Greatsword, but rather than level Greatsword in New Game Plus, right, so rather than just jump into New Game Plus and play with the Greatsword, you're like, hey, I want the full Greatsword experience. I want to actually experience leveling the weapon, see how it plays with each tier and each boss, right? For you guys, obviously this will still be applicable to you, but I will be going later on in the video with each boss fight segmented so you can see there as well. You've already seen the bosses, so shouldn't be much of an issue, right? Spoiling that. Um, Other than that, the way that I approach stats, right? Your character's main stats. This is how I approach them. You'll see in the video, I play the game with 10 vitality because, again, I don't get hit that often. So when I do get hit, with 10 vitality, if you're using a heavier armor as well, you'll probably be able to soak, 2 hits, 3 at most probably, but not really any more than that. But if I'm getting hit that often, I'll just restart the fight anyway. No problem, right? Die, respawn, go at it again. My motto with vitality is put as much vitality as you feel comfortable with, right? Your goal is not to just see how many hits you can take, right? Your goal is to just be able to get hit a little bit, right? Comfortably be able to heal, right? But you don't want to get hit at all, ideally. But you don't want to be a sponge either, right? Because you still want to deal out some damage. So my motto with Vitality is put as much in as you feel comfortable with. You can always respec if you need to, but put in as much as you feel comfortable with, but then level your strength to where you can get an A agility. Now, depending on the gear set, right? If you're using a plate gear set, that's going to be an insane amount of strength. In that scenario, you want to level your endurance and strength kind of pretty, for the most part, evenly. If you're using a lightweight or heavyweight gear set, you're going to need around, 20 something, 25 strength for lightweight, depending on the type of lightweight. But then heavyweight, you want to be around 35, 37, I think, for A agility. Once you have your A agility rating, remember, unless you're using plate, if you're using plate, it's going to take a while to get there. Once you have your A agility rating, I personally recommend just dumping all of your points in endurance. Endurance in this game is really, you want to have enough stamina to continue fighting, especially to continue fighting until you break your enemy's stamina bar, because then you can brutal attack and then regain your stamina that way. You want stamina though. Being without stamina in this game is not fun, right? It really is not. The beauty of this game is the combat system and engaging in the combat system. So you want to have the stamina to work with. You want to have the stamina to fuel the engine, right? Other than that, if you have any questions on comment, or if you have any questions on skill attributes themselves, don't be afraid. Just shoot me a question in the comments. I'm pretty good about reading my comment section. So other than that, okay, let's get into it. So with the first tier, oh, actually, and one more thing I should say, as you see in the video, I will probably, most likely, my skill tree will be behind yours as far as level. The reason why is because the way you get mastery levels in this game is not by, so it's not by dying, right? Or not by, losing to bosses. The lacrima gain you get, I'm sure you've noticed by now, or if you're a new player, you haven't noticed yet, but you gain lacrima, or basically souls, if you lose in a boss fight. So if you're on a boss fight and you're losing, every time you lose or die, they're going to give you a little bit to boost a main stat, right? So you can use a little bit more endurance, or you can get a little bit more vitality, whatever you need. But your mastery level, the way you gain mastery levels is by engaging in the combat system. So when you brink guard, when you guard, when you brink dodge, when you hit enemies, when you kill enemies, you gain mastery levels. So that's why, when you go through levels, it's a good idea to just kill the enemies, right? Kill the enemy, don't run past everything, kill the enemies. So that way you get those mastery levels to give you the skills. So when you fight the boss, you can engage with all these different skills and mechanics, and it's more fun in my opinion. So real quick, I'll go over the first tier. So for Blade Phantom here, for Blade Phantom, really, the first couple things I want Mortal Blow, so I can follow up, right, with any type of swift attack that I'm using. I like to have Manifest Power and Ghost Arm Block. Ghost Arm Block, you're going to see, is very important for Greatsword. It's one of my absolute favorite skills, and the fact they give it to you early is really, really nice. Now, I'm not going to go too far in depth with the skills themselves, because I do have some other videos on my channel. Because believe it or not, the skills in the game, there's more to them than what you see face value, right? So I do like to do deep dives and more in-depth explanations of all the skills on my channel. So I do have a couple videos for Greatsword already. But if you have any additional questions, again, feel free to shoot me a message or question in the comment section. I'll get back to you. So I do like to have Ghost Arm Block for Blade Phantom, first boss. And I do like to have Combat Cadence and Helm Break. Helm Break's really nice just for initiating combat and going through for just normal enemies. And then I like Armor Breaker. Armor Breaker is really nice, especially with Ghost Arm Block, because in that, when you use it after Ghost Arm Block, you're going to be able to not consume stamina to, in essence, extend your stamina bar, right? And I will say, again, because again, when you lose, right, you're going to be engaging in the combat system. You may be a couple mastery level points ahead of me. That's fine. If you do, I would highly recommend, because you're not going to be Ghost Arm blocking every attack, I would recommend you grab Furious Swipe, or also you can grab the skill that when you do Brink Guard an enemy attack with a normal Brink Guard, you can deal damage to them. Another good option is the sidebar there of Mortal Blow Nascence, or Nuss, however you say it. It's a good way to engage a staggered enemy, to keep them staggered, and hit a mortal blow after it. Very good, very useful. Now, the next tier down, we have a lot opening up here, a lot of good skills to get. And again, you may have an excess of mastery level points. If that's the case, you can plug them in wherever you want. I'm just going to show you what I like to get as the bare bones. I also want to take this opportunity real quick to highlight a skill that I think you should never get unless you have an insane surplus, just like you're basically at endgame and you have an extreme surplus of skill points, you don't know where else to put them, and you want to resume playing Greatsword, is dodge stamina. So It's going to be this skill right here, the little foot with the lightning bolt. I will never get this skill simply because it's just a bait. It's the biggest bait in the skill tree. I'm going to show a short clip here, and you'll see when I don't have any. So take note of where my stamina bar is. So when I have no points in it, look, as when I do one dodge, where my stamina bar goes, and I'll do it a few times. Now I'm going to respec and I'm going to put 3 points in it. So I'm going to max out the skill. And then I'm going to do a couple dodges again. See where my stamina bar is. It makes it's such a little amount of stamina that it saves you. It's so minute. It's not worth the skill points to put in, right? You're going to benefit far more from putting extra points in like Counter-Strike or, Inner Fury, get some extra hits in there, or even more damage on Titanic Descent, right? Or if you want to consume less stamina, put it in Mortal Blow, right? Easy. So that's just a quick note there. I will never use that. It's just, unless you have skill points to burn, I would completely avoid that skill. Now, moving on. So once you get the second tier there, the level 10 tier, there's a lot of good skills to grab here. We can have the fully charged version of Mortal Blow, very nice skill. We can have our stance break, so when we break enemies' poise, we get Spirit. Spirit is a big thing for Greatsword, guys. Spirit skills, you want Spirit, you don't ever want to be without Spirit. So I would definitely grab that, especially because you break enemies' stances quite a bit without even trying with the Greatsword. Then we have Phantom Knight's Veil. As Phantom Knight's Veil is another crucial skill for Greatsword users. It's a great quality of life. It deals additional damage passively. It's something that you don't want to be without. It's a phenomenal skill. Definitely take it. I will have a video later on down the road about Phantom Knight's Veil, but I would recommend you read it. Read it for yourself. You'll be able to see, especially with the combination of charged attacks that you'll be using. You definitely want to grab that skill. Don't miss out on that. Then we have the next skill over in the Unbreakable tree. This is really good too, especially when you're chaining charged attacks together. It definitely speeds up the Greatsword and helps the gameplay become more fluid. Then lastly, in the level 10 tier there, we have Counter-Strike. Guys, Counter-Strike is another skill that you will be using every single time you play with Greatsword. It's very, very good. It's a free spirit skill basically, right? When you use it to Brink Guard. It is so good, and it's very satisfying, especially when charged. Don't overlook it. I made that mistake for a while using Greatsword because I'm addicted to Ghost Arm Block, but yeah, don't overlook it. Counter-Strike is a very, very good skill. Now, moving on down to the level 18 tier. We have a couple good skills that opens up there. Limit Break, you definitely want that. It does consume a spirit point, but the damage is substantial. It is. So there's a little bit that goes into it. So the damage is good, but because you go through tiers of charging, if you want to release, like if you want to charge a potent blow and get a faster potent blowout, you can actually release the potent blow button before you get to the full charge, and it will give you the normal charge. So if you don't want to consume a spirit point, you can actually release your charge early, and you won't consume a spirit, but you'll still get a charged R2, and you'll be good to go. So basically having that skill gives you the option. Moving on down, we finally get access to Inner Fury. Guys, Inner Fury is a very, very good skill. It's good for getting behind your opponent as well, dealing backstab damage if you want. And also the additional hits can help you maintain stagger while you're regaining stamina. Moving on from there, you'll definitely want to grab the other upgrade to Helm Break to allow you to quickly chain into a potent blow. Very, very good, especially again when you have the Phantom Knight's Veil buff on and you can maintain that stagger, get a charged R2 in. Very smooth, very smooth. Now, I don't get extreme dodge immediately, but I do get solid stance. So, real quick, before I get on to the other tier of Furious Swipe, you definitely want Solid Stance because you want to, if you can regain or get some increased stamina regen for Brink Guards, which with Greatsword, we're Brink Guarding a lot. That's really our primary source of damage negation. You definitely want that. I would grab that first, personally. Now, the last thing I'll mention is Furious Swipe, the second tier, because look, comboing that with Combat Cadence, being able to seamlessly transition from Furious Swipe into Combat Cadence is very, very smooth. It really allows you to kind of sew up or to mitigate the kind of weird clunkiness that you can encounter sometimes with the Greatsword, especially after you use Furious Swipe. So it's really nice to get that in there, chain right into Combat Cadence, which then can get you into Savage Momentum, and then you can get into, you know, whatever, a charged Spirit Attack or Mortal Blow, whatever you choose. Okay, guys, so that brings me on to the last tier here. So tier 26 and beyond, I'm just going to kind of combine them together. So the once I personally, and I know that you guys are going to have a surplus of mastery levels, so I mean, this will be fine for you. Once you gain access to tier 26, that personally is when I put points in Titanic Descent, because the uncharged Titanic Descent really, it's not as good as, like, it's really just, to me, it's not as much worth using until it's charged. So I do like having the second tier of Titanic Descent, that charged splash. And then moving on from there, you're allowed to get your larger AoE of Inner Fury and that duration buff. That's very nice for us. And also, right below Extreme Dodge, you can have that enhanced regen. So basically, it enhances Solid Stance and Extreme Dodge. Definitely grab that. It's a very, very important skill. And now I want to get to the last two parts of Counter-Strike. So at the making of this video, my Counter-Strike video is not out yet, but it will be soon. Guys, you definitely want to have, and you know, your choice whether you want Counter-Strike Chance or Counter-Strike Slam, either one, right? I personally go for Chance. I think it's just better overall. It's a better usage of Spirit as well. But Counter-Strike Shift is really when the Greatsword becomes the most fluid that it can. So Counter-Strike Shift, that's going to be that last, all the way at the bottom there, at that last Counter-Strike node, that allows you to interrupt your own attacks. So this is massive. So this allows you to interrupt your own attacks in certain points, which means that you don't have to give as much breathing room to the boss as you may normally, right? So this allows you to, when you're hitting your combos, maybe you hit Mortal Blow, or maybe you hit Heart Piercer too early, maybe you accidentally had an input, right? Counter-Strike Chance allows you, or Shift, excuse me, Counter-Strike Shift allows you to interrupt your own attacks to protect yourself mid-attack. This also means, again, you can slip in attacks very quickly where you normally wouldn't have been able to, because of, you know, whatever, your attacks recovery frames or your attacks startup frames, right, giving you a weird window into attack. It eliminates that downtime, will allow you to protect yourself and then resume attacking, because then right after that Counter-Strike, you can go into Armor Breaker, right? If you hit Armor Breaker right after, but your enemy is going to attack, maybe they have a quick follow-up, you can Counter-Strike Shift again. It's a wonderful skill. Now, I also want to take this time to mention, again, these are the skills that I use and that are very user-friendly. A couple honorable mentions, though, is on the common page. Guys, again, if you have a surplus of skills and you want to throw some points in the common tree, by all means. The Brutal Attack Execution is a very fun skill. Again, especially if you're a new player, it's a very fun skill. There's a lot of cool execution animations. Definitely throw one in there if you want. You get Spirit for it. Give it a shot. Also, getting additional Spirit back on attacks or Brink Guards, that could be nice too. And again, because keep in mind what you see on my skill tree, it's, because you guys are going to be dying a little more, you guys are going to be getting hit a lot more, and if you're dying, that means you're going to be fighting enemies more. Your mastery level will be higher. And remember, you can always, if you want, you can always respec. So if you want to just take out a couple points in one place, put them in another, you can do that. That's the beauty of it, right? So maybe if you get stuck on a level a little longer and you have more mastery points than you see here that I've allocated, you can put them wherever you want. And then if you want to get back to something more similar to my skill tree, you can. Just respec your points, put them in, plug and play, good to go. Now, I do want to also mention, I would highly recommend, and again, and this is for more of the player who doesn't want to really engage or worry about the build aspect of the game. If you don't want to worry about the building aspect and you're like, look, man, I just really like the combat, I just want to play. Cool, awesome. I can't hold that against you, right? If I can help you, if I can take away an aspect of the game that you find unenjoyable, and just to help you kind of just, again, have fun with the game, what I would do, and the gear set that I use here is the Devourer of Darkness gear set. It's extremely good. You can get it by farming. So basically, you would need the full set, and you can get the materials by farming Aratra, the spider boss, and then you get the scroll to craft it 2 levels later, which is really nice, right? So it's a good set. You can just farm the set if you want, or you can farm the set so where you have enough materials to craft it. You get the scroll 2 levels later to give to the blacksmith, which allows you to craft it. So you get it very early on in the game as a whole, and it's an extremely good set, but it is heavy. So it's going to give you a lot of protection, but it will make you probably B agility until later in the game, to where then you can have enough strength to have A agility, but you'll probably be fine as long as you know you're popping a vitality sphere. Vitality spheres are very important, and they're very abundant. You can pop them before every fight, and you'll be fine. So other than that, guys, that's all that really goes into leveling the Greatsword. Again, there's really good skills that I would recommend. It's pretty, for the most part, the skills that you get for every tier are pretty simple. But a small disclaimer, I would always recommend, even though I'm just giving you what I would use here and what I recommend as far as Greatsword goes, I would still take a couple extra seconds, right, a couple extra minutes to read the skills, right? Please read the skills. There's more that goes into the skills than that's on paper. Some of them are not as easy to plug and play, but once you understand them, it really allows you to smooth out the Greatsword. Also, if you guys want to see literally every skill that I put in, right, and as I get them, you can. I documented this entire, basically all these fights. I did them all on stream on Twitch. So if you want to see, I have them also recorded in a VOD. So this entire time of leveling, I leveled up Greatsword from New Game on my stream. So if you want to see that, you can go there. And then I just got into New Game Plus from there as well. So I did beat the entire game with this from New Game. If you want to see it there and see all the in-betweens, you can. Other than that, guys, thank you again for watching. I'm really happy to see some more people playing Khazan recently. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to answer. And yeah, enjoy your Greatsword journey. And I hope you're enjoying the game. I'll see you in the next one.